Hey, how's it going? My name is Art and welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys had a really good, decent week. Hope you had a good day today. For the last couple days I had a sinus cold and I couldn't function too well. And it's Michigan. If you live in Michigan, you know what I'm talking about. If you have sinus problems as well. Still not really over it, but it is what it is. And let's see. Therapy for my shoulder, this shoulder right here, the right shoulder. It's interesting. The other day was my first full exercise, and let's just say I was sore for a while. But I do have a little bit more movement. But I also had gotten the X-ray done, so figure out what's going on with that. Um, Life has been okay. Okay. Well, since if you're watching this on Saturday, well, I'm filming this Saturday. Of course, this will be released on Sunday. I gotta wash my glass. I gotta clean my glasses. Kind of a little hazy, a little bit, but hey, it is what it is, right? Well, yeah, like I said, it is what it is. Yeah, I kind of froze a little bit in my head. But let's talk about what I picked up today. Okay, the first one is Star Wars The High Republic, number 10. I'm actually. Um, and of course, this is a century before the Alkalite TV show, so it's pretty good. It's pretty good. A little bit strange, a little bit weird, wacky, but it's pretty good. Next is Inquisitors number 2. I'm actually looking forward to reading this book. I'm actually looking forward to it because about the Inquisitors, if you watched the Rebels TV show, that was the first I think that was the first introduction to the Inquisitors. Then of course Jedi the Fallen Order. What was it called? Jedi something? Jedi the Fallen Order had more of the Inquisitors, and of course everything. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Oh gosh. Drinking the last of my pre-workout. After a while, when you get supplements like that, after a while, if they're especially in a powder, they become crystallized. Even though that was like $25 for a tub of that, relatively cheap. Don't like to waste anything, so I'm drinking it. Plus, it keeps me energized, so that way I don't be falling asleep. Next, we got a Cyberforce one shot. Back in the day, during the Image boom days, Cyberforce from Mark Silvestri was one of the best comics out there. Plus, with his artwork, he was a true X-Men and Wolverine. So this is his version of whatever he's doing. So hey, I'm kind of interested in reading this. Next is Scarlet number 3. Right now, I'm waiting for the all 5 to 6 issues before I read it. I heard some things about this series that kind of makes me go, okay. Then I just remember something. They rebooted the G.I. Joe universe with these. There's an ongoing G.I. Joe, and there's like almost like a different. It looks like a different universe of G.I. Joe with like origin stories, and I think that's like the Duke, Cobra Commander, Scar, because of the what they call the Void Rivals is a part of that. What they call the Energon universe or Energon something. Energon was called the Energon universe or something. I don't read Void Rivals because I just didn't want to read it. But I did get issue number 4. The reason why I bought issue number 4 because one of the people that I watch, called the Comic Vet, he wrote a letter, and his letter is published in issue 4. Next is an interesting one called Cross Country. Now, the reason why I bought this is for mature readers. The reason why I bought it is because supposedly I think these guys are Michigan based dudes, and supposedly there's a history with this book, this story, that is 4 years in the making. And what happened is that the manager of the comic book shop I go to, his name is Dan, he's appearing in this book. So naturally, I am kind of interested. And supposedly in another issue, Warp 9, the comic book store I go to, and where I buy some figures, it's going to be debuted in here in a comic book as well. So I'm waiting on that one. Next is a favorite of mine, Gun Honey, if I can find it. Now, Warp 9, the place where I buy comics a lot from, they've been kind of saying, hey, you should get a pull box. You get a pull box because you get 20% off. And I'm thinking, if I get and the reason why I was very hesitant to get a pull box, because I pick up comics and then I look around. Whenever I have a store and I have a pull box, I just get my stuff and get out. But who knows? I might end up getting that pull box one day. Last but not least, one store I went to had one of these left. The Warp 9 store I went to, this was the last book. And this was a variant. So this is Uncanny X-Men number 1. So, and from what I heard, it is a very, very hot book. I mean, I don't know why it's a hot book, Uncanny X-Men. Maybe because of Gail Simone writing it, maybe. Old school writer. Maybe that's the reason why. But, spoiler alert, a person dies in it. That's all I'm going to say. Don't tell me that's it. Well, that's it for the comics. Now, one TV show I've heard that was a very, very good TV show, but I never watched it, was Stranger Things. I don't know why. It just didn't interest me. But one part about Stranger Things that I thought was interesting, it highlighted a game that I used to play in high school and through college. Have you heard of Dungeons and Dragons? Some of you might have seen the movie. There was a Dungeons and Dragons movie 20-something years ago. And there was one recently with Chris Pine, which I still have yet to watch. I still have yet to watch it, but I probably will soon. I keep saying that and I never do. But I will watch that soon because I'm very interested in that. And it had a very unique anniversary. There's Dungeons and Dragons action figures that came out, which I never bought, based on the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that I used to watch on Saturday mornings. Now, what happened is, if you saw Stranger Things, which I saw clips of it, the group of kids got together and played this one game with sheets of paper and dice. It's called a role-playing game. And where you say, I'm a hero. Like back in the day, I was a knight. After a while, I stopped playing knights, fighters, and I started playing clerics to heal people. Because you could be a fighter and a healer at the same time. So a lot of people loved my character. Sometimes I had a little flair. Not too much flair, but a little flair. Then after a while, I became an assassin, which I thought was more interesting. A thief, played rogues, assassins kind of character. But other than that, so there's different types of role playing games. One was a superhero role playing game called Marvel Superheroes, which has a new volume out now, which I bought. Still haven't read that thing yet in order to play it. I still haven't done that yet. One of my favorite ones called Mutants and Masterminds had a Kickstarter, which I bought. I think I showed that on the channel once. I think I showed it here once, or I said, "Here, this is what I bought." Now, here's the funny thing is, this one has a property, which I bought 2 of the books already, or 2 books and the 2 adventures. I think I bought already. Can't remember because it's somewhere in this room somewhere, which I'm going to be cleaning up soon. I keep saying that, but I will. So here it is. This is the G.I. Joe role-playing game beginner box. In my opinion, they should have came out with this before the actual role-playing game itself, so that way it gets people interested. But this teaches you how to do the rules. And it's really, when I heard about this is coming out, I said I have to get this. Why? Because it's a cheap way for me to so being like, let me read this 300-page book. Let me read the quick rules first. There was a Star Wars role-playing game years ago, recently, in which they had like beginner box, like beginner sets before the actual role book came out, and it's pretty neat. And it's not for a bad price. So if you're into that kind of thing, like I am, or I'm trying to get back into role-playing games, so I bought that. Next is a eBay purchase. Oh, cool. All right. So here's the question. What did I buy? Stack of books. Yeah. Wow, this guy packed this pretty well. Awesome. Okay. You know what? Before I do that, let me show you this. I did pick up a figure. M. Bison. Back in the day, back in the early 90s, Street Fighter came out. It became one of the most popular video games ever. And if you're old as me, I'm pretty sure you've seen it once or even played it a couple times. And they make action figures of this now. I have Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li. I wasn't a Fei Long fan. Fei Long. I wasn't a fan of him. So, I skipped on his figure. This is part of the next wave, M. Bison, which is I got. Dhalsim. I could have bought him today, but I'm not a big fan of. I wasn't a big fan of his, so I didn't buy him. But one of my favorite characters is M. Bison, of course, like him, Balrog, and Vega, and Sagat, the bad guys. I love them, and I played with them many times. I'm waiting for Guile. Blanka's cool. Okuma or Goki is cool as well. Zangief I might get. Cammy I definitely have to get. And this is the list of characters right now. So this looks regal. But anyway, now let's get back onto these books. Now the thing about these books right here, the coolest thing about all these books, and you know what, they're not going to be in any order per se. I bought them from one seller, and all of these books, the most expensive book of this little set that I picked up was $10. Everything else was like $2 to $4. So when you could get a good set of books for like, so I spent about $40 on all these. and majority of these were always majority of these was like $2 a piece. But you know what? I'm not going to show you. And the thing is, these are really awesome covers. I think by Mark Mayhew, who is a very good cover artist. So without further ado, this is not in any order, but it's kind of hilarious. This is a character I'm not really big on, but I like these. I like these. We got She-Hulk number 11. All these are all. Now, I'll tell you the truth. There's this guy named Gary B. He loves. I think he's a big She-Hulk fan. I think he is. I'm not sure, but don't quote me on that one. If he saw this, he'll probably get enjoyment out of this. She-Hulk number 7. I love this. Love this cover. Really love it. She-Hulk number 5. Incredible Hulk's 626. 626. This is in 2011. This is before they started doing all the releases and all this other stuff. But Craig Pak was very good writer who writing Star Wars right now. Is he writing Star Wars or Darth Vader? He's writing one of those right now. Got She-Hulk number 7. This is by Greg Horn. Oh, nice. The thing about Greg Horn that's slightly problematic, and I call it problematic, not really. Some people call it problematic. He gets a lot of inspiration from certain movies. Think about that one and you understand. She-Hulk number 21. Now these are all cover buys. She-Hulk 19. And all these are bought from one seller, and most of these books are like $2 to $3 a piece. Except for maybe one or two, which, but I would say one or two was about maybe like 10, 11, 15 or something like that dollars. And last but not least, She-Hulk number 12. In my opinion, these are all really good covers. Don't know much about the story, but Dan Slott was writing it. And Dan Slott is usually a very decent writer. And I'm pretty sure a lot of his is from Peter David. A lot of their inspiration was in that She-Hulk TV show, which I thought was really funny, except which was really funny except for the last episode. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely weird. But other than that, that's it for this week. A little bit longer video than normal, but a lot of stuff happened. So, if you like this content, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Share it with your friends, share it with your enemies too. You want to torture somebody, show them this video. That's a good way to torture somebody. Try not to laugh, but anyway, thanks for spending a little bit of your time with me. And hey, I did film some figure unboxings, and don't know when they're going to drop those, but I'm having a feeling they're going to be dropping probably either later on this month or earlier next month. Oh my gosh, I got vacation time. I got a month vacation. I got a month's worth of vacation to plan. And that got to be used all before January. The beginning of January. So got stuff to do. So with that being said, thanks very much again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll definitely see you in another video soon.